So this is directly from a GCSE exam question. Extrinsic and intrinsic feedback are used when performing in sport. Assess the relative importance of each of these types of feedback to a group of people who have just started learning to swim. Now, there's a lot of information in this question here that we definitely need to zoom in on. And if you think about, first of all, what is it asking you to do? What is this question asking you to do? And I'm just going to, because I do like to get you to bug the question. So if we go assess the relative importance of each. That's what it's asking you to do. It's asking you to assess, to make a judgment on which is more important between extrinsic and intrinsic. So that is ultimately what the question, and we have to tackle that in the answer. You have to say this one's more important than that one. That's what the examiner is waiting to see that you've put in this question. Now also we need to then, I like to get you to underline. So Bug is put a box around the key term, what it's asking you to do, and then underline. So obviously extrinsic and intrinsic feedback are part of this question. So we need to know that. But there's some other key information that's given in the question. Feedback for people who have just started to learn to swim. Just started to learn to swim. So we know that they are novices, they are beginners, and swimming is quite a complex skill and a high level of danger, I suppose, involved in it as well. So now that we have bugged that, and we look at extrinsic feedback, so feedback that comes from an outside source. Okay, is that going to be important for novices? Or do they know it already? Can they just self-correct? Can they make those adaptations because they've got loads of experience? Well, in this case, we know they're just learning to swim. So when we ask ourselves the question, which is going to be more important, straight away we think coming from an outside source, this feedback is going to be more impactful. So we know we're going to say that extrinsic is more important. Now I'm just going to show you how I modeled out the extrinsic paragraph, and then I'm going to ask you to try and do the intrinsic feedback paragraph itself. Again, 3 marks for each. Let's have a look at what I put. So, a beginner will require extrinsic feedback. I'll put in brackets is more important. Just ultimately that sentence there is saying that it is more important. But you may want to use those words just to signpost to the examiner that you are attacking the question and making that assessment. Because they lack confidence. So you're explaining why now. These people that are learning to swim, they lack confidence in their performance, in those skills, not just in being in the water if you can't swim, as they are new to the activity. Okay, that's good. That will get you your first mark. So you definitely have that first mark in the bag there. Now, again, you will know that I'm constantly banging on about using these phrases. This means that, and as a result. So let's go. This means that they will require extrinsic feedback from a coach. Another mark, talking about where this feedback is going to come from a coach. Now we have to double develop. It's lasting for 3 marks, so we have to go again. As a result, this will motivate or encourage or confirm what they are doing is correct in order to develop their skills and techniques. So they need that confirmation from an outside source because they're the expert and these people do not have the experience, the knowledge to be able to do that themselves. So that is a really, really good question where I've attacked and got those 3 available marks. So over to you now, and if you're doing this in my class on Microsoft Form, there will be a question down below on the Microsoft Form where it's asking you to just now tackle the intrinsic side. So you will be saying that intrinsic is less important or is not as useful is a nice way to put it for a novice swimmer that's just learning how to swim. So you want to say intrinsic, on the other hand, is not as important or not as effective, and go on to give those reasons why. But that would be a good start.